This is a forest. This is what the same forest looks like after a really hot, dry summer. And this is what it looks like after a year of intense flooding. What does it mean for an ecosystem when its forests start to die? How do animals cope with losing their homes? And what can we learn from nature's response to climate extremes? In a recent paper published in the journal Nature, scientists set out to answer these questions by studying what happens to forest ecosystems when they experience really hot, dry weather or extreme rainfall. They gathered data from 21 sites across Europe, each of which had experienced at least 2 of these extreme weather events in the preceding 5 years. The team collected samples of soil, plants, and animals to see how different parts of the ecosystem were affected. They found that both really hot, dry summers and extremely wet conditions led to major shifts in the ecosystem. In the years following a hot, dry summer, there was a sharp decline in the number of species living in the forest. In the 2 years following the extreme rainfall, the number of species actually increased. So why did hot, dry weather have such a big impact but not the other way around? Well, it comes down to water. When it's really hot and dry, plants can't photosynthesize because they need water to survive. When they can't photosynthesize, they can't make food, so they die. That means the animals that eat those plants don't have enough food and they also die. But when it rains a lot, plants can keep growing because they have access to all the water they need. Sure, some animals might drown, but most of them are going to be just fine. In fact, the researchers found that in the years following the floods, there were more butterflies and other insects, because the extra water created the perfect habitat for them. Now, this isn't good news for us humans, since it means that in the years following a flood, there's a greater risk of wildfires. But it is actually good news for biodiversity because it turns out that ecosystems are more resilient to really wet conditions than they are to really dry ones. For example, when it's really dry, plants have to conserve water, so they close their which are these tiny pores on leaves that are used for gas exchange. But when plants are really wet, they can afford to keep their stomata open, which means that they can photosynthesize more and grow faster. So overall, the study suggests that we shouldn't worry too much about the odd raindrop, but we should keep an eye on the thermometer because it is getting hotter and drier in many parts of the world. And that's bad news for forests, animals, and humans alike.